Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankara Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharya Keshavam Madarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavad ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste once again everyone.
Namaste Guruji.
So in the last class we completed verse number 43 and we have to read verse number 44. 44 in our list, but in the original list it is verse number 148. Okay. So we'll read. Shruti Pramanaikamate Swadharmanishta. Not the correct meter. Shruti Pramanaikamate Swadharmanishta Tayaivatma Vishuddhirasya Vishuddha Buddhe Paramatma Vedhanam Tenaiva Samsara Moolanashaha. Someone made it. With different meters, sometimes it becomes a little difficult to catch exact the meter. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. So the Anvaya is Shruti Pramanaika Matehe Swadharma Nishta Taya Eva Asya Atma Vishuddhihi Vishuddha Buddhehe Paramatma Vedanam Tena Eva Samsara Moola Nashaha. This is the Anvaya of the sloka. Shruti Pramanaika Matehe. For the person whose mind is committed to the Shruti as a means of knowledge, who has got Shraddha in the Shruti as a means of knowledge, as a pramana. Swadharma Nishta, a commitment to one's own dharma. Taya, by that, eva alone. Asya, for him. Atma Vishuddhihi, the purification of the mind, happens. You can say, Bhavati. Vishuddha Buddhehe. So, for the one whose mind is thus purified, Paramatma Vedanam, the recognition of Paramatma, the recognition that the Paramatma is not elsewhere, but it is with I am Paramatma, Aham Brahmasmi, that takes place. Tena, by that eva alone, samsara moola nashaha, the destruction of samsara along with its cause, you can add bhavati, happens. So, for the one whose mind is committed to the Shruti as a means of knowledge, a commitment to one's own dharma is also there. And by that commitment alone, purification of his mind follows. For the one whose mind is thus purified, recognition of the limitless self takes place. And by that recognition, the destruction of samsara along with its cause, that is ignorance, results. We have seen the cause of samsara is what? Ignorance, right? Ajnanam, avidya. So, the sixth topic, Katham Vimoksha, how to get liberation, is addressed in this sloka. This question can be asked only by the human jiva. Because moksha is possible only in the human janma and not in any other janma of animal or plant, etc. They have to all wait to get a human janma and then work for moksha. And that is why in the Shastras, the human birth is considered to be the most exalted birth amongst all jivas. No doubt, they are also jivas, animals, plants, etc. They are also jivas. They also carry sanchita karma from their past human births. But only when they get the human birth, they can ask the question, Katham Vimoksha. A cat or a dog will not come and ask, how can I be liberated? How can I become immortal? And if we are lucky, blessed, we get the guidance of Vedic scriptures, which are uniquely designed for human liberation. Not just liberation of Sanatana Dharmis or Hindus, liberation of the entire humanity. There is no religion attached to moksha. Different religions talk about moksha in different manner, but moksha is common to all religions. The beauty of Advaita Vedanta is that unlike all other religions, even within Hindu religion, certain systems who talk about moksha or liberation only after death, Advaita Vedanta talks about liberation or moksha not after death. So, in other theological systems or religious systems, they talk about liberation by going to some other place after death, like Vaikuntha, Jannat, or heaven. All those, they talk about all those places, Kailasha, Brahmaloka, so many places. They say if you go there, you travel there, you will get moksha. The problem is we do not know whether that is true or not. We can't check also. But those who have died will not come back and tell us, yes, I went to Vaikuntha and came back, or I went to Jannat and came back. These are all the things that I experienced. Nobody will come and tell. So far as they are concerned, those theological systems are concerned, it's a matter of faith. Because the scriptures say so, we believe in it, we have faith in it. So they are purely driven by faith. Whereas the Vedic scriptures talk about liberation, which we can discover in this human janma, in this life itself. And not only Veda talks about the possibility of Jivan Muktihi. Jivan Muktihi means moksha while alive. It gives a beautiful roadmap also. All that you have to do is diligently follow the roadmap like you follow a GPS system when you are driving. And it gives a lifestyle which is designed for moksha. And all these ideas are beautifully condensed in this one particular sloka. I mean, I can keep on saying every sloka is important, because every sloka is important. And these are gems which Swami Paramarthananda ji has actually selected for this, this series of talks. So this sloka talks about spiritual journey leading to moksha. And as we have discussed in the past, this journey consists of two stages. This journey addresses all the problems of samsara, as we have understood. And there are two layers to this problem. One is the emotional layer, and the second is an intellectual layer. We have to deal with both of them for getting ultimate liberation. So the emotional layer, first we deal with the first layer, or the first stage you can call, which is called karma yoga. In that, by developing viveka, vairagyam, etc., we tackle the emotional layer, the problems presented by the emotional layer. The second stage is jnana yoga stage. Both of these, karma yoga and jnana yoga, are very elaborately discussed in the Bhagavad Gita, which is nothing but condensed Veda only. But here in Vivekachudamani, Adi Shankara focused more on the second stage alone. The first stage, karma yoga, is just hinted at, that's all. So the first stage is called karma yoga, which is a preparation for jnana yoga. Second stage is called jnana yoga, which is actual liberation, which leads to actual liberation. So we must understand, without karma yoga, jnana yoga is not possible. Without jnana yoga, karma yoga is incomplete. So both of them are equally important. And insofar as karma yoga is concerned, I think one of the earlier classes, when we were discussing sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, in the slokas, when we had the discussion on the fourfold qualifications, we did touch upon, briefly discuss karma yoga. Adi Shankara touches upon the karma yoga aspect. But he does not say how to get those qualifications of sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. This I told at that time itself. In Bhagavad Gita, these are all very elaborately explained. And we need to remind ourselves here all those things, because the first line of the sloka here is the summary of the first stage of the spiritual journey called karma yoga. And when I say karma yoga, it includes upasana yoga also. Again, while discussing karma yoga, we had discussed Panchamahayajna. You should all recall all those discussions. And Upasana Yoga means meditation on God. Initially Ekarupa Ishvara, later Vishwarupa Ishvara, then finally when we come to Jnana Yoga, Arupa Ishvara. Karma Yoga will focus on Ekarupa Ishvara Dhyanam and Vishwarupa Ishvara Dhyanam as a part of the Upasana Yoga section of Karma Yoga. God as a personified form and God as the universal, all-pervasive one. And this helps them to make the mind sharp and expanded rather. So we must always remember Karma Yoga includes Upasana Yoga also. Karma Yoga includes all ethical and moral values. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna emphasizes that off and on. In the 13th chapter and in the 16th chapter, ethical values are discussed as part of Karma Yoga. So that is also an area we need to focus on and understand. All this benefit Bhagavad Gita students, they will get. So bhakti or devotion to God is also upasana yoga. And initially, it starts with artha and artharthi bhakti, which we can define it as sakama bhakti, devotion for worldly benefits. Oh God, please give me that, please give me that, give me that. Dhanyam, dhanam, pashum, bahuputra labham, shatasamvatsaram, dhirgamayuhu. All these you please get. You please give me, bless me with all these things. We can start with that, no problem. But sooner or later, that should get transformed into Nishkama Bhakti. Earlier, you asked for so many things and expected God to fulfill all those desires. Now that gets transformed to a prayer where you say to God, if you give me what I ask for Bhagavan, it will be wonderful. But if you don't give that also, it is okay. I will gladly accept whatever you choose to give. I will accept it with Ishvara Prasada Bhavana. I know that by relying on the scriptures, I know that what I get in my life is not necessarily what I desire, but it is always what I deserve. So whatever I get as a result of my bhakti, my prayer, etc., I will gladly accept as prasada coming from you because you are the karma phala dhata. And once you start like this, then it gets the sakama bhakti gets converted into nishkama bhakti. And that opens the way for you to start asking Bhagavan, oh Bhagavan, forget about what I need, what I desire, what I deserve, etc. Give me sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Because that is something that I want as a qualification for my moksha. I am now committed to moksha now. I want to prepare myself fully. Rest of the life which I have got, how many years I don't know. But I would like to start the preparation for that in this life itself. Give me, bless me with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. So, from all the sakama bhakti and all, it gets converted into prayer for attaining the requisite qualifications. And along with that, we must also pray for being blessed with values, sadguna hai. Krishna calls it Daivi Sampat in the Gita. So for all these things, from material desires, material goals through prayer, attaining material goals through prayer, now we are focusing on non-material goals using the same prayer. Thus, the first stage consists of Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Sadguna, and Nishkama Bhakti. All these four package, they will prepare me for Jnana Yoga. How does that happen? It will first create an interest in scriptural study. That's the first indication that you are prepared, you have started the journey. You will get interest automatically in scriptural study. Then the next stage, it will make me seek a guru. A desire to attend Vedanta classes will arise. And of course, when I say Karma Yoga, all these are included in that. These are all the results of Karma Yoga. Therefore, when I say Karma Yoga, we must understand all these four are covered in that. Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Sadguna, Nishkama Bhakti, all these four are covered in Karma Yoga. And whatever you do for that, you do with the Ishwararpana Bhava, and whatever you get back, you take it with, accept it with Ishwara Prasada Bhavana. Generally, we say that Karma Yoga gives the qualification to enter Jnana Yoga. But we must note another equally important point. In the last class, we talked about four layers of samsara, isn't it? Ajnanam, Adhyasa, Tapatrayam, and Punarjanma. These are the four layers of samsara. Of these, the first two layers are intellectual layers of samsara. Avidya and Adhyasa, intellectual layers. Third layer, Tapatrayam, is the emotional part of samsara. Karma Yoga can neutralize the emotional layer of samsara, as I just now mentioned sometime before. All forms of emotional turbulence, emotional disturbance, they are all called collectively Tapatrayam. And we must remember that Karma Yoga can heavily dilute this Tapatrayam. But Karma Yoga cannot remove the intellectual layers of samsara, that is Ajnanam and Adhyasa. So again, we must understand, Karma Yoga can dilute the emotional disturbances only. Therefore, how should we know that we are making progress in our Karma Yoga sadhana? That we can know if we are able to observe that we are generally enjoying peace of mind. We have less anxiety, less fear, less worry about so many things for which we used to be anxious and stressed and worried earlier. That is how you can monitor your progress in Karma Yoga. In fact, in the Gita, Bhagavan Krishna emphasizes both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga in the 5th chapter. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindrayairapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. So he says Karma Yoga gives Chitta Shuddhi, Sadhana Chatushta Sampatti qualification for pursuing Vedanta studies. But that's only one benefit. Because in the next sloka he says another important benefit. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shanti mapnoti naistike ayukta kama karena phale sakto nibhadyate. Shantim apnoti naistiki, the one who is following Karma Yoga, he will get equanimity of the mind. Karma Yoga can give you peace, Shanti. I am emphasizing, because in fact Swami Paramathananda also in his talks emphasizes this, because generally people complain that Vedanta knowledge is all very fine. We are attending the classes. We are able to understand by and large what is being taught. But when it comes to day-to-day life, we are not able to apply Vedanta for worldly problems. We are able to understand Vedanta in the class. But when family problems come, worldly problems come, business problems come, we are back to tension, anxiety, fear, all those kind of a thing. And Vedanta doesn't seem to help in those circumstances. It's a very genuine question everybody will have. Problem lies in expecting from Vedanta what Vedanta cannot give you. We must understand that Vedanta is not required to solve the worldly problems or family problems. Vedanta is required only to solve intellectual problems of samsara. For all emotional turbulence caused by the situations, whether it is family problem, worldly problem, we do not need to apply Vedanta. Because that is not the solution. It is our misunderstanding that if we study Vedanta, that's a solution for us. And that is why when we talk about Vedanta studies, we are actually focusing on two areas, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is not a solution for family problems and all our day-to-day problems. We should study Vedanta for understanding what it is, for our intellectual understanding. Therefore, for addressing all these problems, day-to-day problems, we may not be able to apply Vedanta, but we can apply Karma Yoga, Ishwararpana, Buddhi, Prasada Bhavana, etc. That will work. If you apply Karma Yoga, which is again part of the spiritual journey only, in fact, the first part of the spiritual journey, most important part of the spiritual journey, which part will actually prepare you for the second part, Jnana Yoga, solution lies in that. Krishna tells Arjuna in the second chapter, you follow Karma Yoga and you will find samatvam, sukha dukkhe same kritva, labha labhau jaya jayau, tato yuddhaya yujyasva, naivam papam avapsyasi. And then he says in the few slokas later, yogastha kuru karmani, sangam tyaktva dhananjaya, siddhya siddhyor samo bhutva, samatvam yoga uchyate. Therefore, for this very valid question of solving our problems, that is worldly problems, we must understand that we need not apply Vedanta. Aham Brahma, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, etc. Nothing we need to apply. But appropriate application of Karma Yoga, Ishwararpana Prasada Bhavana, as I said, with conviction needs to be applied. It is not enough to just take notes in the class, save them nicely, beautiful bound notebooks, or these days, laptop, computer and all, fine. And then save them in one folder, never to be visited again. We should learn to live the teaching on a day-to-day basis. So if we employ Karma Yoga in our life, 80% of our emotional problems will be solved by Karma Yoga itself. Karma Yoga will remove 80% or still more of the emotional samsara. Jnana Yoga we primarily employ not for emotional samsara, but Jnana Yoga is primarily meant for the deeper layer of intellectual samsara called Ajnanam and Adhyasa, self-ignorance and self-misconception. Therefore, despite practicing karma yoga or despite knowing about karma yoga, if our emotional problems persist, it means we are not properly applying the knowledge that we have gained about karma yoga. All these are all practically meant for us to use in our life. It's not just, you learn all these things. Okay, I also know, I also attend Bhagavad Gita classes. That's of no use. You will remain where you are. In fact, sometimes your position will worsen as you grow older. Earlier, when you were a bachelor, you were only worried about you and your parents. Then later on, your family expanded, you got married, you started worrying about yourself, your parents, and also your spouse. Then you had children. One more set of worries got added. Then children grow up. They have to get big, they have to educated, they have to get married, all those worries add up. Once they get married and they get their children, one more set of worries get added up. And it is not that when one set of worries get added, that one set of worries goes away. Parents' worry still remains, spouse worry still remains, your children's worry still remain. Now your grandchildren's worry has also got added. So the problems of samsara, the emotional side of the problems of samsara is ever growing. There is only one solution to tackle that: karma yoga. So we must know what balm to apply for what problem. There are this iodex kind of balms which are there, which we apply, when there is some what you call some problem, muscular problem,
Sprain,
etc. You apply iodex. But for sprain, if you apply Vico turmeric, will it work? That is also meant for some purpose, Vico turmeric, right? But for the problems for which Vico turmeric is the solution, you cannot apply iodex, and vice versa. For problems for which iodex only will give you relief, Vico turmeric will not work. So we must know what is the problem, identify the problem. Is it an emotional problem or intellectual problem? Generally, all of us, majority, we only face initial stages emotional problems. Only when we overcome the emotional problems or keep the emotional problems under control, the issue of intellectual problems even surface. Till such time we are totally involved in our emotional problems, forget Jnana Yoga and all that. That is not going to help at all, because you are still unprepared for Jnana Yoga. So that's why Karma Yoga becomes very, very crucial and important, because we must first gain control, gain management control over our emotional problems. And that only Karma Yoga balm will do that. This we can monitor. The beauty is we can be our own. We can make even note down. Okay, today I got angry. I got emotional for this particular thing. After 1 week, is this still persisting, or am I able to make myself understand certain facts about this emotional problem? And then I take a decision that I will not, this particular emotional problem, I will not become a victim to that. Every small things, observing your own behavior, your own reaction, your own responses to circumstances, you can make small improvements. And that is what a spiritual journey is all about. That's what everyone should do. In fact, I remember when we used to travel by train long distance in India, most people will carry the railway timetable. Today also they carry that timetable is there in the phone itself, the mobile phone. Whenever station comes, they will go, oh, which station has come? Okay, we have crossed this station. Now this station will come. Then they will see whether the train is going fast or slow or on time, etc. Right? Similarly, in our life also, every day we need to observe what is happening. What is happening to my mind? What is happening to my intellect? What is happening around me? How is this world transacting with me, relating to me? What are all the problems coming out of that? How am I able to address those problems? All these, like we used to see that railway time, we must every day observe our behavior. Forget what other people think, what other people say, and all that. This is the most important. If you are seriously committed to your spiritual journey, which will culminate in freedom, in liberation, in moksha, you have to do all these things. These are all part and parcel. Bhagavad Gita will not tell you have to do this. Upanishads will not tell you have to do this. But from whatever they are saying, we must know what we should do. If we want to see progress, we just can't sit back and complain, oh, Vedanta, I am attending the classes for the last 10 years. It is not making any difference to me at all, my life. In fact, the best thing is your family, people around you will say this. The moment you start attending Vedanta class and they expect some major change in you, major change in your attitude and in your behavior towards them. Because you will probably, say, oh, Vedanta means, love everybody, samatvam, yoga, uchyate, and all that. Then every time they find that you are not following samatvam, they will immediately stand up and say, what Vedanta you are doing? You are not following this. You yourself say samatvam and all, Krishna says, but where is samatvam for it? You are treating, especially with children, this is a big problem. No? I'm sure many of you have got even grown-up kids. This problem is there. You are more partial towards my sister, or the sister will say, you are more partial towards my brother. They will always see asamatvam only in your behavior. So these problems will be there. You can't escape that. What you should do, what you can do is, how do I address this problem from my emotional point of view? That is what is important. And that is the crux of this whole karma yoga practice rather. So therefore, two benefits of karma yoga I want to emphasize. One benefit is preparation for jnana yoga. And the second, more important benefit, which is of more immediate practical value, is that we can get rid of all our worries, all our emotional issues by karma yoga. Bhakti reinforces karma yoga to give the emotional strength. And later on, jnanam or knowledge or jnana yoga will complement that. So we must all gather courage through karma yoga, bhakti, nishkama bhakti. Yad bhavyam tad bhavatu. Bhagavan purva karma anurupam. That is what you must always remember. Whatever is happening was supposed to happen. Or whatever should happen, let it happen as per my purva karma. Let anything happen, let there be a war, let there be a pandemic. You do not even know when all these things will end. If one is seemingly ending, another is starting. In fact, 2 years ago, we did not know where this corona, COVID and all will lead us to. Absolutely, we were in a state of no information, no knowledge, everybody going around and telling whatever they felt like saying, without any proof or scientific proof. If I am a bhakta, I can say, hey Bhagavan, yad bhavyam tat bhavatu. I am ready. Whatever according to my purva karmas come to me, I am ready to accept them. Because what? Bhagavan, you are my source of strength in me. I can face anything, fearlessly face any situation when you are standing by my side. I can win over every war. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha. Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhudi Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Last stanza of Bhagavad Gita. When Bhagavan is on your side, you have actually the most strongest relationship in your life. You have made that relationship with Bhagavan, which overshadows all other human relationships or relationship with animals like pet dogs, pet cats, etc. If you have developed or you have actually established that relationship with Bhagavan, you have nothing to fear. You cannot have fear at all. And that relationship is reinforced every day, in every movement by your bhakti. So where fear is there, bhakti is absent. And talking about bhakti, there are two types of bhaktis. One is ritualistic bhakti. Another is real bhakti. There are many people who get up in the morning, early morning, they will light up the lamp, do varieties of things, some puja, etc. and all. They'll celebrate all festivals and things like that and all. We must remember, doing all these things alone is not bhakti. It does not mean this is not bhakti. That is bhakti. But bhakti should not stop there. In spite of doing all these things, if my fear continues, if my anxiety continues, if I have a feeling, oh my God, this problem I am going to encounter next week, who is going to help me? If that feeling continues, all that bhakti that you are having is only a ritualistic bhakti. If I have real bhakti, if I know that whatever comes, I have got a partner with me, who is such a powerful partner, Sarva Shaktiman, Sarvagya hai. He knows everything. He is the most powerful. He is there with me. So why should I fear? Why should I have any anxiety? I don't need to have any fear of the future. That is real bhakti. So bhakti and fear cannot coexist. And of course, does not end there. Use bhakti for fearlessness in the initial stage. Then finally gain jnana. And when that comes, of course, abhayam pratishtam vindate, says the Upanishads. The very source of fear is gone. Because what? The world itself is falsified. Of course, all these things, digressing from the main topic, we will discuss all these things later when we come to that. Okay. But then I started saying that we need to understand, I wanted to clarify this important issue of mental peace, tranquility, samatvam. For that, one need not look up to Vedanta. That's the point I wanted to make. If you practice Karma Yoga properly, you will be fine emotionally, you will be balanced emotionally. Now let us come back to the sloka. We got 15 minutes more. So as I said, in this very important verse, the entire spiritual journey is summarized by presenting it in the classical two-stage form. First stage is called Karma Yoga, which includes Upasana Yoga, values, devotion to God, Bhakti. So all these four put together is called Karma Yoga. That's the first stage, which sets the foundation for the second stage called Jnana Yoga. And Jnana Yoga consists of self-inquiry to gain self-knowledge. And by way of that, self-ignorance and self-misconception are removed. And this self-inquiry is in the form of consistent and systematic study of the Vedanta scriptures under the guidance of a competent guru, an Acharya, Acharya from the tradition. This is called Jnana Yoga. That is the second stage. And both are presented in this verse. Shruti Pramanaika Matehe. We can add Purushasya. Purushasya Shruti Pramanaika Matehe. So here, Shruti Pramanaika Mati, that refers to a spiritual seeker who has fixed moksha as the primary goal of life. He is a mumukshu. And what is his first step? Which is a very important step. Shruti pramana eka pramane eka eva matihi yasya. Shruti pramanam eka pramanaha eva matihi. Shruti pramanam means what? Veda pramanam. Shruti means Vedas. So Veda pramanam eva alone is the guidebook for moksha destination. As we said, GPS, which we have to fix in our jiva vehicle. And what type of attitude we must have towards Veda? Ekamatihi. Ekamati here means Ananya Shraddha, Achanchala Shraddha. Eka means unwavering, focused, one-pointed, unflinching. And Matihi in this context means Shraddha and Bhakti. That Veda, the scriptures will guide me to moksha. That Shraddha one must have. All this put together is the attitude called Suti Pramaneka Matihi. So it refers to a person. That's why I say Purushasya. So the first step, fix Veda as your guide map. Once I so fix, Veda will not introduce me to Jnana Yoga straight away. Because Jnana Yoga will not work without a mind which is well prepared through Karma Yoga. Therefore, Veda prescribes Karma Yoga in the initial stages. And for practicing Karma Yoga, Veda allows the acquisition of all worldly resources, family life, everything. And for Karma Yoga, what is the important component? The sloka says Swadharma Nishtha. In the traditional interpretation, Swadharma will mean what? Varnashrama Dharma. All the duties enjoined on you based upon your Varna and your Ashrama. That's a classical definition of Swadharma, which is what Krishna also refers to as Swadharma in Bhagavad Gita. So every Vaidika or Vedic follower has a designation in terms of his social position, which is Varna, and in terms of his individual level of spirituality, which is Ashrama, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, etc. And this is called a Varnashrama designation. And based on those only, duties were prescribed for a Vaidika. All this were called Swadharma. But we can talk about this Swadharma or Varnashrama Dharma if we are living in Vedic society. But today we are in a democratic society where they are even talking about destroying the Sanatana Dharma. So in today's society, we cannot talk about Varnashrama Dharma for various reasons. Forget about destruction. Even people who claim that they are Sanatana Dharmis, they don't follow Sanatana Dharma. What are the values of the Sanatana Dharma? Nobody is following. And that is the reason why Swami Paramathananda ji has been taken a very practical approach. And he has replaced this Swadharma with Panchamahayajna, which eventually even the Vedic scriptures, that is the approach. But in today's world, Panchamahayajna is more practical than Varnashrama Dharma. Contribution to the family, contribution to the society, contribution to the environment, contribution to the elements, contribution to the culture. All these are, we can all relate to it in today's world, in today's society. And that's why he emphasizes Panchamahayajna as a very, very essential part of Karma Yoga, which we can still follow without any problem. We don't need any Vedic guidance. Of course, Veda also talks about Panchamahayajna. But in today's context, Panchamahayajna becomes the most important Karma Yoga sadhana. So this fivefold contribution, every Vaidika, every spiritual seeker has to focus upon. And this is, of course, in addition to his personal pursuits, rather. So in today's world, we can say Panchamahayajna is called Swadharma. We have talked about Panchamahayajnas in great detail earlier, so I will not repeat all that. And Nishta here means commitment. So once a person has followed and led such a life for some time and understood the limitations of the materialistic life, and once a person has understood that moksha alone will give me real fulfillment, then Veda introduces the same Panchamahayajna for spiritual growth also. See the beauty of this Panchamahayajna. So initially, the scriptures introduce Panchamahayajna for material prosperity. Later, the same Panchamahayajna is introduced for spiritual growth. And when Panchamahayajna is used for spiritual growth, it is called Karma Yoga. In Grihastha life, you follow Panchamahayajna to earn material things. Veda doesn't prohibit that, because don't become greedy. Veda says don't accumulate wealth or material things more than what you need for you and your family. Don't become avaricious, don't become greedy. That is what this Vedanta's advice is. So when Panchamahayajna is used for spiritual growth, that is called Karma Yoga. Thus, Swadharma Nishta refers to Panchamahayajna as Karma Yoga, along with, of course, whenever we are talking about Karma Yoga, we must include Upasana Yoga, ethical moral values, and also Ishvara Bhakti, devotion to God. Initially, that Bhakti is for Sakama Bhakti, later Nishkama Bhakti. Pray to God, oh Bhagavan, give me internal transformation. And that is here called Vishuddha Buddhehe Taya Eva. Taya means through that Swadharma Nishta, Asya Purushasya Vishuddhihi Bhavati. Mental purity comes, which is what is called Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. And that refines his desires. And the refined desire is threefold. What are they? One, he has got moksha, ichcha, desire for moksha. that is followed by Jnana Icha. From a Mumukshu, he will become a Jignasu, desire for knowledge. And for that, Shravana Icha, desire for systematic scriptural studies. This threefold desire must dominate the seeker. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Tam etam vedanu vachanena brahmana vividishanti. Bhagavan Krishna calls it Jignasu Bhakti in the Gita. Thus, Vishuddha Buddhehe means threefold desire. Desire for moksha, desire for jnanam, desire for shravanam. Scriptural study, attending Vedanta classes, directly or online, doesn't matter. And now one may have a doubt about effectiveness of online classes as compared to direct classes in a Gurukula. Because many times it is emphasized that two things are emphasized. One is you must have a Guru and you must directly learn from the Guru. And directly by that, the implication is you must sit in front of a Guru and learn from him. No doubt, that's the best way of learning. Because whatever doubt comes in your mind, you can ask the Guru and get it clarified then and there. So, the impact of online classes cannot be as effective as staying in a Gurukulam and doing Shravanam. But in today's context, that is not possible for most of the people. Therefore, we have to go for the next best option. And if we don't find online classes effective, Acharyas like Swami Paramatanandaji, Swami Onkaranandaji, etc., would not have conducted online classes. Therefore, there is certainly a benefit attached to the online classes, but one should listen, one should attend the classes, one should absorb what is being taught as though one is sitting in and listening, sitting in front of a Guru, live Guru. If a Guru is speaking and you are in the front, how will you listen? With the same attention, with the same commitment you listen, then online study also will be as effective as direct study. Therefore, the benefit that a student can get from online classes will depend upon how the student approaches the learning. So, Vishuddha Buddhehe Bhavati. And once that desire comes, Bhagavan provides the right conditions for Atma Vichara. The person will graduate to Jnana Yoga. Then, of course, he has to make the necessary infrastructural changes in the form of making time available. In those days, people used to take sannyasa at this stage. But again, that is not practical in today's world. So sannyasa need not be taken. But I should have quality time for studies and inquiry. For that, what I should do, I must reduce my worldly transactions. I must adjust my worldly transaction to gain more time for Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Listening, writing notes, reflecting on them. And finally, internalizing all the ideas through Vedantic meditation, which is called Nididhyasanam. For all this, not only quality time is required, but also a quality mind. A mind which is not preoccupied with other things is necessary. And gaining such a mind is my responsibility. Guru is not going to bring some surf excel and clean your mind. You have to do the cleaning of the mind, purification of your mind yourself. Therefore, make sure that time and mind are available. Then you are ready for study. You are ready for the next stage of your spiritual journey. And what is the next stage? The next stage of Jnana Yoga is presented in the next line, which we will see in the next class because it's already time. Okay, we'll continue the next class. Hari Om. Thank you. Om
Hari Om Guruji.
Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavada. Thank you all very much.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Wish you all
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ.
wish you all
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Hari
ಗುರುಜಿ.
Sera.
ಹರಿ ಓಂ.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Thank you.
ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ವಿಜಯದಶಮಿ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Same to you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Very interesting in depth, in fact. Thank you very much, Guruji.
I mean, I focus more on the practical aspects, like we just theoretically we keep on talking about all these things, but how we can use all these things in our day-to-day life, that is important for us. And this is, but that's most important for us.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Scriptures give the roadmap. Only thing is we have to just
Find the time and
exactly.
the motivation and also the determination to sit down.
Determination is determination. Two things. Determination is there, then conviction should be there that this is the route I have to follow. If the conviction is
Correct.
not there, then you will be like an entertainment Vedanta. If I have time, I will attend. As Swamiji
Correct.
says, Chappal on, Vedanta gone. Like that, you know. So,
Out of sight, out of mind.
out of sight, out of mind. So this is a continuous process. You have to live the life, that life. That's it.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Yes.
Srikant, one clarification. I just wanted to check on this. You talked about 4 layers of spiritual problems, right?
Yeah.
Avidya, I missed the second one.
Ajnanam,
Third one is and
Adhyasa,
Punarjanma.
Punarjanma. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Okay. Any more questions? Namaste, Lataji. Prashnamasti va? Can't hear you. Muted.
अद्य प्रश्नं नास्ति गुरुजी.
Okay. Namaste.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.
Dhanyavada. Hari Om. Thank you. So can we, no questions are there, can close the class with your permission. Okay.
Namaste Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
ಹರಿ ಓಂ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.